You're watching CW6 News at 4.
It has been 75 years since Japan devastated the American naval fleet anchored at Pearl Harbor in a surprise attack.
In a statement today, President Obama recognized the 2,400 Americans who lost their lives. That number includes military and civilian men, women, and children.
Diane Gallagher has more details about today's special anniversary.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years after the Japanese Imperial Navy's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor.
No one knew it would be the last moment of peace for almost 4 years.
And we are joined in studio right now by a historian, and that is Jay Wertz. And Jay, you have written 6 different books on the topic, but this is the first comic book that you've
Yes. Well, I wanted to try to reach out to a bit of a broader audience than my books of interviews with survivors and description of the war. So I decided to turn to something that's a little more familiar, especially to the youth today, and that's comic books, because they relate to that with the superhero comics and movies, and I wanted to try to tell the true story in a form that was a little more graphic and a little more colorful and fun than perhaps some of my other works.
Okay, and as just flipping through, it is very clear what happened, how many attacks and how they responded and all of this. So why is this so important to do in such a pretty simple way for kids to understand?
Well, I think we want to try to reach out to a broad audience, so we need to keep it historically accurate as much as possible, but as I say, also make it fun, colorful, and in images that kids can relate to, because we don't want this history to die when the last survivor does finally pass on. We want to have people understand the sacrifices that were made for freedom 75 years ago today.
And like you said, this is a very simple way to present it, especially, I mean, think to the younger generation. And this does come, we should acknowledge, on the heels of so many interviews that you've conducted with survivors. Talk to us about that.
Well, conducted over 600 interviews with survivors and who were veterans and eyewitnesses to all the campaigns of the war, Europe, Asia, naturally the Pacific, and they range everywhere from, of course, the famous San Diego personality, Medal of Honor recipient John Finn, when he was 100 years old, and to younger veterans, those that just got in at the end of the war, but nevertheless their fight was, and their sacrifice was just as much as those who had been in for 4 years. So everybody contributed, and everybody is very humble, and I think very appreciative also of the fact that they are still recognized and what they did is recognized.
Yeah, and if for anybody, John Fenn was a San Diegan, I believe, lived in East County, passed away a few years ago, but if you have never heard the story of John Fenn, that's worth a Google search right there to learn about what he did the day Pearl Harbor was attacked. Now, this is being considered right now as something that'll go into schools to teach children, right?
Well, we'd like to have that happen. We've circulated with some teachers. There's a program to teach more World War II history in front of the California School Board, and they have representatives who are considering presenting this to them, and we just sent 55 copies with a band that's going to march in the parade on Oahu tonight.
Wow.
And for them to read on the plane, because it was a very long ride.
And as we see here, it's in iTunes, digital form, to appeal to, obviously, the younger crowd, always on their phones and laptops and iPads.
Exactly. Now they can get on their phone and find out about John Finn, and they won't even have to go to Google first.
Nice.
Wow. Author and historian Jay Wertz. Jay, thank you so much for your time today.
What an honor to have you.
And all the work you've put into this. It's great.
Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you.